Welcome to This Week in High School Sports. I'm Teresa Whipple here with Steve Willits, and we'll talk just for a moment about how we are color coordinating today.
Yeah, and we didn't plan it either.
No,
right?
we didn't.
We showed up like this, and we will be talking about what we're wearing in the future together.
We will.
Text messages will be sent.
We'll do a better job, we promise. So let's first say thanks to our sponsor, Red Onion Burgers, and also mention that they are hosting their annual Shop with a Cop event coming up on November 18th, and we'll have more details on that in the future, but mark your calendars, and my understanding is if you go to Red Onion Burgers and ask Sean about it, he can hook you up with some tickets. So, and that is a good benefit for the community. It allows kids to shop for free who are in need, so for the holidays. So Steve, let's talk about cross country.
Yeah, the Northwest District Championship meet was last week, and this is the final meet before the state championships this coming weekend. And some Edmonds-Woodway runners doing very well. We should mention the boys team first because they took first overall out of 14 schools. Finishing first place individually was Lucas LaCambra. He had a time of 16 minutes and 32 seconds. And oh, by the way, Lucas, for your efforts, you are the Action Jackson Plumbing Player of the Week. So we're going to get a shirt out to Lucas and let him know that we were fairly impressed with what he did out there amongst 14 schools, taking the overall individual title. Other runners we want to mention, Diago Peraza, also from Edmonds-Woodway, taking third overall. Colin Connectal from Meadowdale was eighth overall. And we need to mention three other Edmonds-Woodway runners because the 5 times together combined got them the team championship. So Dylan Hartano, Jacob Wilcox, and the freshman Josiah Ponton. Congratulations, guys. Nice job by the Warrior runners. And then we talk about the girls team. They finished second as a team, but their top 3 runners taking first, second, and third overall. That's pretty impressive in itself. Yeah. Not a big surprise either. Again, I feel like a broken record sometimes on this show. Yukino Parle, first place. Olivia Meter-Yetter, second place. Stephanie Roblewski, third place. All 3 of them obviously going to state next week. All 3 of them expected to do very well there. Should mention the state championships taking place over in Pasco on Saturday. So to Lucas, the 3 ladies on the Warriors team, and everybody else who qualified for state, best of luck next week. Should be a lot of fun to follow those times and to see where they place. I know Yukino finishing 7th in state last year. Olivia was 8th, Stephanie was 15th, and I have a feeling all 3 of them are going to do much better than that this year.
It'll be exciting to see what they can do.
Indeed.
Yeah, all right. So, and then we've got swimming, right?
Yeah, swimming state championships coming up the following week. District meets going on this week. If you're a 3A school, and for us, that's Linwood, Meadowdale, Edmonds-Woodway, they will be taking part in the district championships Friday and Saturday at the Snohomish Aquatic Center in Snohomish. And then the 2A schools, which is Mountlake Terrace for the Edmonds School District, they will be at the Fidalgo Pool in Anacortes. Speaking of Mountlake Terrace, we mentioned this on the show last week. The girls winning their first ever, we think, Edmonds School District Championship. We brought the 2 team captains in to talk about the Hawks swimming team and to get a little more of a background as to who they are. Here's the interview we did with Lydia and Audrey. You know your high school swim team hasn't won a school district championship in a very long time. When nobody seems to know the answer when the last time was they won the championship, we now know that Mountlake Terrace last won it about a week and a half ago. And with us right now, 2 members from that team, the captains, Lydia Liu, Audrey Hernandez-De Cruz. Ladies, nobody seems to know the answer. We think it might be never. There's some rumors that maybe in the mid-'80s Mountlake Terrace won one. Either way, it's been a very long time. What is it like for the 2 of you to be part of a swim team where they've never won the Edmonds School District Championship, Lydia?
Well, it's really exciting to be part of the Terrace team because I know just a few years ago there was no more than like 7 people on the team. So now we have a bigger team and we're stronger. But yeah, I think we were always kind of the underdog, so we had no idea we would win. It's really a big surprise.
And Audrey, this is a school district that's really kind of been dominated by Edmonds-Woodway over the last few years. Interesting side note, Mountlake Terrace and Edmonds-Woodway have kind of shared the pool for the last couple of years. You shared a coach last year. Obviously, when it came down to meets and whatnot, the schools would kind of go their separate ways and keep score differently. But you pretty much were one team really kind of breaking into 2. Knowing Edmonds-Woodway the way you did, were you at all surprised that you were able to beat them in the district championship?
I was really surprised because they have a really good team, and going into the meet, I it wasn't in my mind that we were gonna win until like it became obvious that it's really close and we're gonna win, and I think it was really interesting for us to win, especially our senior year, because it's a big way to end the season.
And Lydia, for you, when we talk about the Mountlake Terrace, Edmonds-Woodway, the combination team there, it must be kind of interesting for you in the sense that you transferred from Edmonds-Woodway, right? So you you didn't have to go very far when you went from one swimming team to the other. What's it like now when you look across and you realize that you're no longer wearing the same colors in the swimming pool?
Yeah, I actually did go to Edmonds-Woodway for my freshman and sophomore years, and then I moved over for my last 2 years of high school. And I know being on the Edmonds-Woodway team, it was a really strong team, and we always just expected to win. So now moving to Terrace, it's really exciting to be part of like the other side of the picture and like work really hard to, I guess, win the championship.
Sure. And tell me a little bit about the events that the two of you swim in. Audrey, I'll start with you. What are your events?
I swim the 50 free and the 100 butterfly.
Okay, and you placed where during the?
I placed 5th for the 100 butterfly.
Picking up some points for your team. And Lydia, what about you?
Throughout the season, I swam the 500 and the 100 breast, and that's what I ended up swimming at the district meet. So I got 5th in 100 breast and 8th in the 500.
Very nice. So you're picking up points for the team in 2 different events.
Yeah.
And as far as the team itself, let's talk a little bit about some of the personnel. Who are we watching when we go to I was going to say Mountlake Terrace meet, but at this point we're looking at the 2A district championships coming up this weekend. Audrey, who are some of the swimmers on this team?
We have Brianna Enriquez, Emma Van Hooser, Carly Stave, Tiffany Wong, and Katie Matthews. They're all swimming individual events, I believe. And Sally Benedict.
There we go. Very nice. How about each other? Tell me a little bit about your strengths, or the other person's strengths as a teammate, and what they bring to this squad. Lydia, I'll start with you. Tell me a little bit about Audrey.
Yeah, Audrey is definitely one of my best friends at the school. She's super dependable, so it's really exciting to get really involved with her in a sport. And yeah, just being captains of the team is pretty exciting, and we had a lot of fun this year, with this team.
And Audrey, tell me a little bit about Lydia.
She is very organized, so she knows how to handle everything, and we would study together for the SAT during swim meets or practice, so it was fun to be with her.
So true student athletes there, studying for SAT and swimming all at the same time. We like that. Hey, Rebecca Lance is your coach, first-year coach at Mountlake Terrace, also a Mountlake Terrace alum. I've got to think it was a pretty big deal for her when going back to her alma mater and helping them win that district championship. What has it meant to the program to have her out there with you guys?
Yeah, Rebecca, it's really cool to have our own coach this year. For the past 2 years, we've been sharing a coach with Woodway, so getting our own coach this year was really fun. We also have an assistant coach, and that was really cool. So Rebecca has really thrown me into events that I wasn't expecting to swim or was just like never put in before. Especially because Mountlake Terrace is a smaller team, she can move us around and put us in different events, and like she really pushed me this year to be in like one time I had to swim the 100 fly, and I'm not a flyer at all, so I was like, I really didn't think I could do it at all, and I went up to her and I was like, are you sure, like you put me in the 100 fly, like and then she was like, yeah, I know, and I was like, wow, okay, so I swim it, and then yeah, like now I know I can do it, and she did that for several different events throughout the year, so it was really exciting to, at first I was pretty nervous to be in just be in out of my comfort zone, I guess, and swimming in different events. But yeah, she really knew what she was doing, and I think she just really helped our team and really improved us as a whole.
Pretty nice when a coach shows confidence in you, but also pushes you at the same time.
Yeah, definitely.
Talking to the two of you off camera, you're both involved with the Running Start. DECA for Lydia, Honor Society for Audrey. You're both involved with Key Club. Where do you find the time? I mean, how much time do you put into swimming, and how do you juggle swimming and schoolwork and other things? I know you both play tennis also. Audrey, where does the time come from?
Usually late nights. We rush from Edmonds Community College to Mountlake Terrace for clubs, then back to the pool, and then home for homework. And it's a lot of work, but if you put the effort in, you'll get a good result. And
Lydia, I've got to think discipline's a big part of that too. I mean, do you still have a chance to hang out with friends and do some other activities, or is this pretty much consuming all your time? I mean, How do you manage your time to make sure that you find a nice balance there?
Well, as far as hanging out with people, a lot of times we just have like study dates.
Yeah.
We hang out together while we study. Yeah, so.
It's not a bad way to do it at all. As far as college ambitions, you're both seniors. Where are we thinking about going next year, Audrey?
I'm thinking about the University of Washington and studying mathematics.
Very nice. Potential teacher down the road, or what would you like to do with that?
Maybe.
Okay.
We'll see.
You got a little time still.
Yeah.
And Lydia, what about you?
Yeah, I also want to head to the University of Washington. It's always been my like #1 school, and I think I might be heading into a business field.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Good for you. And then I mentioned all these other activities and tennis and swimming and everything else. And then on top of it all, as if that's not enough, you both told me you play instruments. What musical talents do we have, Audrey?
I play the violin.
And Lydia, what about you?
I play piano and guitar, and I have 4 sisters, so we kind of sing a lot together, especially at church or whatever.
So Friday and Saturday this week, 2A district championships up in Anacortes. Are we going to have a little bit of a band thing going in the bus on the way up, or do we ever pull out the instruments, or is there any singing going? What is a bus trip like for this team?
Very loud.
Yeah.
Very loud.
Talkative and
Yeah. Everyone's talking, excited for the meet, eating.
Yeah.
it's working. They won the Edmonds School District Championship. So again, finishing out your season this weekend against up at Anacortes. If you qualify, state championships the following week at the Aquatic Center up in Federal Way, or down in Federal Way, I should say. So Audrey, Lydia, thank you very much for coming in. Congratulations on a successful season thus far, and best of luck this week.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Well, again, we have more athletes who have musical talents and play on the bus. Or sing on the bus.
Musical talents, and not only that, but academic talents.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
blown away at how they find all the time and how they can do that at this age. I know I still have trouble disciplining myself to stay on task at my age, and for them to do it as teenagers, it's just makes what we do that much more special. And getting to know some of our local student athletes, incredible people.
It really does. And I know we're going to talk about football, but first I wanted to clarify. I was talking about Shop with a Cop in the first part of the show. And the fundraiser, it's a fundraiser that's happening November 18th for Shop with the Cop. It's Shop with the Cop. It is not the actual event because that happens in December. But this is to raise money to make sure they can buy all the gifts for the kids. So just clarifying. And again, Red Onion Burgers is a place to go for more information. And we will have more information on that next week.
Seems like a good excuse to actually go to the restaurant.
Yes,
Find
and
out
and
more
have a
information,
burger.
and while you're there, have a burger, fries, shakes, whatever it might be. So
That's right. Okay, very good. Shameless plug. And now we're on to football.
we do what we can.
Yes.
Yeah, football playoffs starting this week. Unfortunately for us, only one team advancing to the playoffs, but they did it in a big way. Edmonds-Woodway, the Warriors defeating Snohomish last week, 38-17. They clinched the Wesco 3A South title. They also finished the regular season undefeated in league play. Only loss coming to Woodinville, which was out of league. Jaro Rouse, 8 catches, 137 yards, and 2 touchdowns in the victory. Edmonds-Woodway will play their first round playoff game against Gig Harbor Friday night, Edmonds Stadium, 7 p.m. Don't want to miss that game. If they win, they will move into the round of 16. If they lose, season's over. 2 other schools that are going to wrap up their seasons this week, non-playoff games. This is just to play out the schedule. Linwood will be playing host to Bellingham, 7 p.m. Thursday night at Edmonds Stadium. Mountlake Terrace will be traveling up to Granite Falls to take on the Tigers at Granite Falls High School, Thursday night, 7 p.m. I also want to give a little shout out to Meadowdale. They played in the play-in game to get to the playoffs. It's the 2 fourth-place teams from the North and South divisions. They were matched up against Stanwood on Halloween night. Unfortunately, Stanwood picked up the victory, so the Mavericks season comes to an end. And it's the same Mavericks team that made it to the state semifinals last year, so we'll give them a pass this year, so to speak. No pun intended. And we know the Mavs will be back. Matt Leonard with a nice young team, and I think they're just getting rolling into the future. We'll see what they can do next year.
Very good, and good luck to the Warriors on Friday night. It's a great opportunity to take your family and go under the lights on Friday night and watch football.
In a meaningful game, too.
Yeah,
I mean,
very
it's
good.
all or nothing right there, so
That's
it'll
right.
be fun.
Okay, good. And now on to tennis.
Yeah, the districts took place this past week. And again, the districts for tennis for boys are always kind of interesting because you try to qualify for state if you're fortunate enough to do so. You don't necessarily have to put your racket away for 6 months, but you're not going to be playing school tennis for a while. The state championships take place in May. Didn't have any individual players qualify for state this year. We did have 2 sets of doubles teams, though, finishing in 4th place, and only the top 4 go. So just getting in just barely. Jordan McGivron and Lachlan Rogan from Edmonds-Woodway, they finished in 4th as a doubles team. And then we had 2 members of the Meadowdale Maverick squad take 2nd place and losing the district championship. Rather than tell you about how they did, why not interview them? Here they are in studio, the members of the Meadowdale Maverick team that are heading to the state tournament in May. The boys' tennis season has come to a conclusion, at least for now. The state championships are going to take place in May, but the district tournament was last week, and with us right now, 2 of the members of the Meadowdale Maverick team. Not only 2 members, but these 2 gentlemen here played in the district doubles finals, finishing in 2nd place and punching their ticket for the state tournament. Seniors Ryan Johnson, Djelli, Berisha. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us, and congratulations. Kind of a big deal when you actually punch that ticket to go to state. It's not that easy, especially in Wesco 3A. Ryan, when you beat Shorecrest doubles team to qualify for state, what was that like?
It's kind of just, they beat us in sub-district, so it was just kind of like a feeling of like happiness because we'd beat them during the season, but then it was just kind of like trading off matches, so it was good to get the final one in.
And Djelli, for you, I mean, coming into this tournament, top 4, move on. What were your thoughts coming in? I mean, were you just hoping to get 3rd or 4th place? Did you think you had a realistic shot at the championship match?
I did think we had a realistic shot at the championship match. We had a great season, defeated most of the teams that we played, and I knew that our match against Shorewood in sub-districts was not to our best ability, so I think we could have easily beaten Shorecrest in districts.
And I guess when you finish 2nd place, you always want that first spot, but knowing that either way you're going to state, you'll take that, right?
Yeah, it's a good,
Right,
it's a good
absolutely.
feeling.
Absolutely, I can imagine. Hey, it's a little bit different for tennis and other sports in that when you do qualify for state, your season comes to an end in October. You have to wait all the way until May to compete at the state tournament. And I've got to think for a doubles team, it's even more difficult because you don't normally play with each other throughout the next 6 or 7 months. Do you worry at all, Ryan, about chemistry in terms of if you and Djelli aren't on the court together for the next 6 or 7 months, what it's going to be like to jump back in May, and how's that going to work?
I feel like we're gonna play together at least some over the winter and over the spring, and probably a lot more in the months leading up to May. And we've considered doing tournaments, but we just have to match up schedules so we can find the right time.
And Djelli, for a doubles team, how important is chemistry in tennis?
It's very important. You guys have to know how each other. You have to know how each other, how the other person plays, how the other person moves, their strengths and weaknesses, and using that to the best of your ability to win a lot of games is important.
At some point, do you kind of get a sense or a feel for what the other one's almost going to do out there on any given play, just knowing that you've kind of played behind them or in front of them all this time? Do you almost, Ryan, know what Djelli's going to do on any given moment?
Somewhat. Like at the beginning of a point, you can do hand signals like behind your back if you're serving, and then you can sort of try to dictate what goes on in the point. But ultimately, it's just kind of like reading body language, like see where they're looking, where their feet are pointing, which direction they can go, and like how fast they can move. It's just kind of like knowing the intricacies of like what your partner can do in order to be a good team.
And so far, it's worked for the 2 of them. Speaking of which, let's talk a little bit about what each one means to the other as a teammate. Tell me a little bit about the other one's strength as a teammate and also just as a player in general. Djelli, I'll start with you. Tell me a little bit about Ryan's game.
All right. Ryan has an impeccable net game. Anything at the net, I just know he has. And his serve is very accurate. So I know that whatever signal I give him, his serve will go there, and then we can easily finish out points and win his serving game. That's become very useful in our matches this season.
Very nice. And Ryan, what about Djelli? What's he like out there?
Well, Djelli is rather tall when he's actually standing up, so it's just kind of like at the net, it's like 6'1" or 6'2" guy, just like standing up, reaching over everyone. It's pretty good at the net play, and then his serves have consistently improved throughout the season, and he's had good ground strokes for just kind of railing them down the line or at the net player, which is good for finishing off points.
So overall, as a whole for the season, happy with the way things have played out? Not just counting districts, but just overall.
Yeah, it was a pretty good season. We only lost once during regular matches, which was to Shorewood. At the same team we lost to in the championship, but we did better in the championship. We improved by 2 games, which was a nice little touch at the end.
And Djelli, I understand that the 2 of you didn't always play together this year. Once or twice, You may have missed a match, but I think you had a pretty good reason behind it. Tell me why there was a time earlier in the season where the two of you weren't playing together.
Absolutely. I missed 2 matches towards in the beginning of the season to go attend the U.S. Open in New York.
Did you play? Did you watch on center court or?
I did. I
Wow.
watched 3 matches inside Arthur Ashe Stadium, including a match from Rafael Nadal, who just clinched world number 1 for the end of the year, which is a big achievement.
And so, what was it like to actually sit at Arthur Ashe Court? I mean, everything that we think it would be, and then some. Or
Absolutely. The atmosphere was amazing. I had great seats. I could hear the players tell themselves good shot. I could hear them talking to each other. It was just an unbelievable sight.
and did you pick up any tips you were able to use on the tennis court, or just more of a enjoying tennis for what it is?
Absolutely. I watched lots of players practice, and I ended up taking slow-mo videos of them practicing, so I could incorporate their skills into my game and just their overall tactics, how they were playing in their match. It's amazing to see.
Smart way to do things. Now, Ryan, I know you're starting to move on from tennis for the time being. Again, come May, you guys are going to get ready to take the court again. I understand you also swim over at Meadowdale. Tell me a little bit about that and what events you're swimming in.
I normally do the 500 or more of the long distance swimming because I'm good at distance. I can keep up a good pace, but I can't sprint for my life. And then I also sometimes do fly, but then backstroke or breaststroke. It's kind of, I pull to one side because tennis has made my right arm a little bit stronger.
Interesting.
So
Okay, I never would have thought about that. but-
Backstroke just kind of curve off and hit the lane line multiple times, which
So
makes
tennis and swimming don't always go
no,
go hand in hand. There it doesn't sound like.
not exactly.
And now, as far as other activities, Djelli, I know we talked about you going and watching the U.S. Open, but you, it's not just New York where you travel to. You're kind of a world traveler, so to speak. Tell me a little bit about where you've been over the last few years and where you might be going in the future.
In the past few summers, I've been very fortunate to be able to travel all over Europe, including countries such as France, Italy, Monte Carlo, Albania, where my family is from, and up into Bosnia, Belgium, Switzerland, and Spain and London. Future travels, I'd like to be able to see South America as well as places in Australia. I think that would be very awesome.
And do you have a favorite location so far, or a favorite trip?
I like to say that France was very beautiful. I think that would be my favorite country I've been to.
Very nice. And as far as other activities when you're not playing tennis at school, what else are we involved with? Ryan, I know for you it sounds like you're fairly involved with your church. Tell me a little bit about some of the volunteer work.
I volunteer with my church. I run a sound booth or a video booth and help out with memorial services or just the general church services on Sunday. And I help run sound, do the microphones, and then play videos if it's needed, and then help coordinate with the music that's going on. And then I also volunteered with the middle school youth group as a counselor and just kind of helped run the games and lessons, and then kind of just brought the kids into small groups and talked about the Bible lessons we learned that week to try and help them incorporate it into a modern life.
Very nice. Just giving back to your community. We like to always hear that. And speaking of which, Djelli, Key Club for you sounds like it's a pretty big part of your life. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing there.
As in addition to being the vice president of Meadowdale Key Club, I am also on the divisional board, a group of executives, about 6 people, who oversee our division of 12 schools and over 1,000 students. And through Key Club, I'm able to organize events such as tennis tournaments for children's cancer and back-to-school supply drives for children in Africa who can't purchase supplies on their own because of financing issues.
Very nicely done. And as far as college aspirations, you're both seniors. Have you started thinking about it a little bit? Ryan, I'll start with you. What are you thinking for next year?
I've mainly considered going to either Montana State or UW, sort of the bigger science colleges on the West Coast, Midwest area. It's mainly it's more going to come down to finances because they both have very good programs for what I want to do, which is right now chemistry, but that could change in the future.
Okay, and speaking of somebody who's interested in science for the future, Djelli, what are your thoughts for where you want to go next year?
Next year, I hope to attend the University of Washington as a bio-intended major, biology, and beyond that, I hope to get accepted into med school and become a doctor.
Very nice. Tennis in either one of your futures? I know I've got to think if you're going to be busy in science courses, you're going to not have a lot of free time. Is tennis something you want to maybe pursue, or would it be something you just want to maybe stay active with and play as a hobby more or less once you're done with high school?
I'd like to play on a college team, but Division I is very competitive, so I don't know if I would make the team because both Montana and UW have both D1, and it's very, very hard to get into because it's mainly filled with like international exchange students who've been playing tennis since they were like babies. So
Sure. Djelli, kind of the same thing for you, or?
Yeah, kind of the same with me. I know UW has some amazing IMA sports teams that you can go play on like as recreational and hobby activities, but yeah, kind of the same.
Recreational club or whatever it is, I'm sure the two of you will be playing plenty of tennis in the future. They're going to be playing some tennis in May also. They're going to be heading over to Kamiak High School over in the Tri-Cities. Again, vying for potentially a state championship. We'll see. So, Djelli, Ryan, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing what these two Mavs can do once the spring rolls around.
I always enjoy learning about the doubles players who go on to play at state because I have my memories of my daughter playing at state several years ago for Edmonds-Woodway. So it's a fun time. I was just telling them they'll really enjoy it.
Yeah, and one of them was mentioning the fact that Ryan, I think, was talking about how it's a free trip, 4.5-hour bus ride. I don't know about the 4-hour bus ride part, but anytime you get a free trip anywhere, it's not a bad thing. And who knows, maybe pick up a state championship or a placement in the process too.
Yeah,
We'll see.
you never know. I mean, it's very competitive, but it's a lot of fun, and it's a great time. That's usually very warm and sunny, and I'm sure they'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it would drive me crazy to know that I qualified for something and I have to sit around and wait for 6 months. I mean, I want instant gratification. I want to find out if I'm good enough right then and there. And
Yeah.
they don't get that in tennis, but that's all right.
No,
Hey,
the boys don't. The girls do, but the boys don't.
but you know what? I guess the flip side of that, you can either wait or you don't have to go at all. And I'm
That's
sure
right.
that they'll take what they got. So
That's right. Yeah.
good luck to those guys.
Yeah, very, very good luck to them. Okay, soccer.
Soccer, yeah, we're starting to wrap that up. One school doing well, 3 others not so much. Edmonds-Woodway, they've advanced to the district championship game that's coming up Saturday against Marysville-Getchell at Edmonds Stadium, 7 p.m. start time. To get there, they had to win 2 games. They had defeated Squalicum last Saturday 2-0. And then on Halloween night, it was all about the Hicks sisters. Kira Hicks, the younger sister, scores the winning goal. Hannah Hicks with the shutout as the goalkeeper. They get the 1-0 victory to advance to the championship game, which means they've already clinched a spot in the state tournament. Still want to win that district championship because, number 1, you get to hang a banner up, and that's always a nice thing. Number 2, you get a nicer seed going into the state tournament and, in theory, an easier path along the way. We should also mention, because Hannah Hicks already has one of our fabulous Player of the Week shirts sponsored by our friends over at Action Jackson Plumbing, why not give Sister Kira one too for the 1-0 winning goal to get to the state championship or state playoff berth and to advance to the district championship game. Kira, this shirt's for you. So enjoy that. And that's all we have for soccer right now. But nonetheless, we'll be talking about the Warriors next week and seeing where they're going.
Very good, and there won't be any more sibling rivalry in the Hicks house about who gets to wear the shirt, because they both have one.
Something tells me there wasn't already anyway, but now they do have one, and they can, who knows, maybe we'll get matching shirt day at school or something. I
Okay,
don't know.
that's great. All right, and I think the last part we have to talk about is volleyball, right?
We do. A huge match coming up on Thursday night. We've only got 2 teams left. Mountlake Terrace and Meadowdale, their seasons have already come to an end. Linwood and Edmonds-Woodway both losing in their first round matches in districts, which means they have to go through the consolation round. Bad news is they have to play each other next. So one of them is going to be going home on Thursday night. Interestingly enough, this is a neutral site tournament, so you've got Linwood playing Edmonds-Woodway at Snohomish High School. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So they're both going to be traveling up to Snohomish, 5 o'clock Thursday night. Losing team goes home for the year. Winning team still has to win 2 more games to advance to the state tournament. Those would both take place on Saturday. First game would be at 11 o'clock. Second game would be at 3 o'clock. And again, 1 loss and you're done. So we're going to see if one of those 2 teams can possibly advance to the volleyball state tournament. If not, we're done talking about volleyball for the year. So we'll see how that turns out. But nonetheless, a lot going on right now. District playoffs, heading into state tournaments, state championships to be decided this week in some sports. Just a very active time right now. It's keeping us on our toes and certainly we're hoping that we can talk about maybe a state champion or two here down the road.
Yeah, that would be great. And I can't believe we're already there. And before you know it, it'll be basketball season.
It's not that far away.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, we'll be back again soon with an update for you, and enjoy the week.